Well, good day, all. I'm Epstein, and here we are. And we are sitting here now on Wednesday. And this is the 10th of January, 2024, 5:25 p.m. Central Time. What a day. Chris Christie just announced he is dropping out of the contest. He was really never in it. It's really between DeSantis, Haley, and Trump. I don't know that DeSantis will make it beyond New Hampshire. We'll see. Haley's got the lead. We'll see how she does tonight. And it's interesting because there is a debate. A lot of people don't even know there's a debate, but there's a debate, will be televised. And then President Trump, to take away all the air from them, will have a town hall meeting in Iowa where he'll come in and he'll grab the limelight again. The president could have today spoken before the courts in a wrap-up argument on one of his trials. He has so many going. But because they were going to muzzle him, and that's basically what they told him, he elected not to. But remember, each time he threatens to do these things, he gets press, then his constituency comes out stronger. The Houthis, you know that they did a big attack yesterday, Tuesday night. And now the question is, how does the coalition deal with them? I know what I would do, but I'm very aggressive. That's my nature. And they're not listening. They have been warned. And at some point, somewhere along the line here, they're not going to like the end result. Everybody's very fearful that Iran will step in. Let me share my point of view. They'd be nuts to step in. They already have their surrogates, the money. If they step in and they lose their oil fields, a couple of missiles well placed doing that, what does that do? Well, yeah, oil prices around the world will go up. We know that for a brief period of time. But the damage to them is irreparable for a very long time. And you can just keep hitting them. Those things are just sitting out there. So too easy of targets, doesn't make sense for them to do anything. That's my perspective. Am I a military person? I am not. But it seems to me very easy to do something like that. Nobody wants to see that done. So I don't think that they can control them. I really don't. I believe that Iran would like to see this tamed down a little bit for all the wrong reasons, but I do believe that. All right. What else do we have going? Bitcoin, 11 ETFs. So for those of you that like this, well, here you go. The market is up $700 tonight off the news. It challenged the 48,000 level. Remember, yesterday it got to 48,400 when you had the fake news come out of a Trump term. Fake news come out on the SEC Twitter called X account now, and it proved to not be real. What else do we have? For the metal markets, you got to look at CPI numbers tomorrow. They're going to be very important. What are they going to do with the dollar? I think that is going to be a big, big contention. We have PPI coming out on Friday, and then we have earnings. It starts with the bank earnings, but the whole earnings season is right ahead of you. So where do you go with it? Well, you've given up about $20. You were fighting battles 2040 to 2050 in the February gold. Now you're fighting between, let's call it 2030 to 2040. The silver market's been losing to it all the way through, and copper's not going anywhere until China decides and gets its act together on how it's going to get its economy going, since they consume half the world's copper. It's pretty easy to look at. When I look at the gold market, we're down nearly a full percentage point so far, but it's only midweek and we don't know what these other reports will do. The market has been leaking away. The question mentally that I ask is, now that we have all these ETFs in Bitcoin, does it hurt gold? Does it make gold? If we get these ETFs, what does it do to the CME groups? Bitcoin volume. Does that get hurt? Will people just move into those? They don't have the same cost they have in the futures. Will the ETFs, as an example, trade at a premium or a discount to what the cash Bitcoin is in different areas? I don't know. There's a lot to be learned here. What I do know is gold's in a downtrend. What I do know is the next stopping spot could be the 2013.5 area. That is the 200-day average. And the Bollinger Band is waiting for it right there at 2015.5. So that's your support zone. Is there anything I see on the chart that can just turn it into a bull market in the sense of higher lows, higher highs over the 18-day average? Absolutely not. So a bearish trend, but very oversold. Oversold doesn't beget that you put new money into a market, from my point of view. When I look at the gold-silver ratio, as long as you stay over the 18-day average, silver loses to gold. The higher these numbers go, in a perfect world, that's how many ounces of silver without commissions attached of any type you would need to get 1 ounce of gold. And the higher it goes, obviously, the more silver you have to put up. The more silver, the weaker silver price is. When we come to silver, you're still in oversold territory. You might get to the lower Bollinger Band. You've got a lot of moving averages above you, and it's not a pretty picture. This is a very bearish picture in silver. It is not good. You might even get a bearish crossover where the 18-day average would get under the 100. Now, let me tell you how bearish that is. Then you'd have the 200-day average. Right under it would be the 100, and then under all of that, the 18. That's a classic bearish setup. The shortest term average on the bottom, medium term, the 100 just above it, and then the 200 above all that. That's not pretty. In the copper market, you're now challenging the 100-day average in the Bollinger Band. I would bet that the big-time traders are covering shorts, walking away from the market. That's a very powerful area for support. If you take a look, why is that? If you understand Bollinger Bands, you stay in the range 95% of the time. To bet you're going to stay out of it, or on the downside out of it, you're betting that 5% of the time you're right and the market's not going to be right that time and it's going. Sure, just sure. In the platinum, same thing. This is the area where I think now the covering's coming into the short positions. Do I know if that means anything? Not really. I just know it's not worthy of new short sales, and I do believe it's completely worthy of short covering. Then I look at the dollar index, and as I told you, big-time resistance going into the CPI. You've got the 200-day average at 102.65. You have the Bollinger Band at 102.72.5, 71, right in there. And you've got the market with the swing line basically to the downside. Very difficult trend. We then take a look at the rest of the markets, and we'll get to these and the energies in a moment. But there is something I want to remind you of. My webinar. Today, I sent out the first invites, and I did it, probably around 10:30 this morning Central Time. We're already about 25% full. That's the first one. There'll be others coming up. The webinar is going to be this coming Tuesday at 12:30 p.m. Central Time. It started sharply at that time. I opened it 15 minutes ahead of time, and I ended 20 minutes later. The questions are already coming in. So if you're not on my mailing list and you want to reserve your seat, and they're free to come in, all you need to do is either call my staff, 866-973-2077, or the easiest thing is move your cursor up right to the top here. You'll see an icon, give it a click. It'll take you right to the form that you have to fill out. You fill out the form. Our computers will send you back your user ID and your password. In that email, you'll also have an area if you want to ask a question of me, and that is the place to ideally do it so I can create charts of what you want asked. But I'll also answer questions. I had some people ask me technical questions today on indicators. I will answer them. I put everything in an order as they come in, and that's pretty much how I set up the chart. So I'll begin tomorrow setting things up as people are writing me right now. On futures questions, you can ask pretty much right in the session. But on the SPDR ETF and stock, the reason I want you to ask it ahead of time, there's so many thousands of them. I don't want to create the chart on the fly. I want it done so we can go look at it and talk about it. So again, move your cursor up there. If you're in my mailing list, look in your spam or junk if you didn't see it. I sent it out in the early morning, Chicago time, 10:30 for you. I'm Epstein. I'll catch up with you later.